over Loganov at the start of the race. It was about a tweet that Fourcade had sent earlier on. So there was a lot going on, as we found out in the press conference after the race. But it did show that if you've got a wise head on, you can win the sprint into the stadium if you lead under the bridge. And that's something we might see more of later on. Well, the men's sprint obviously is the next event on the card, and we have to consider Martin Fourcade. 5 sprint races this year. He's only been beaten in 1, so that's 4 victories out of the 5, and he's looked virtually unbeatable. He says this is the one he wants to win, partly because it sets him up for an attempt at winning the gold in the pursuit as well. But actually, he says it's so important to get your championships off to a good start. It takes the pressure off once you've got 1 gold medal in the bag. He's got a silver from the mixed relay, but he'd like to start with a gold.
And very much last year he won this event by 26 seconds. It did give him that opportunity into the pursuit.
Julian Eberhard of Austria is the only man to have beaten Martin Fourcade in a sprint. We know that he hits 10 out of 10. He's almost certain to get himself on the podium and possibly take the win. Well, this is Mickey Grice, of course, who was the golden star of the 2006 Olympics in Torino. And he feels that Chapul and Fourcade are the 2 big names in this event. They're the 2 fastest out on the track. We saw that 2 days ago. But you can't ignore the likes of Arndt Pfeiffer and, of course, Simon Schempp. They're both quick.
They're very much. And last year, Schempp came into these World Championships having won so many sprints, and he faded last year. Maybe it's his chance now.
And also saying that Svensson and Bjorn Dahlin cannot be ignored, although things haven't gone their way so far. Svensson hasn't had a win since 2014. He would dearly love to get one here in 2017. Martin Fourcade, definitely the man to beat. He's going to be in the red and the yellow bib as he leads the sprint standings. He leads the overall standings by a massive margin. What is it, 276 point clear. Dominik Landertinger. We'll wait and see what the Austrians can do. Generally, they've been 30 seconds off the pace throughout the season.
They have, and he's got great history as Landertinger at major championships. Of course, the Olympic silver medalist, former world champion in Pyeongchang when the World Championships went down there. But so many big names. Chapulin, even Tarjei Bø for Norway coming back in. We may see him shortly. There's Bjorn Dahlin. He took, what, 4 gold medals here when the world champs were here last in 2005. Moravec, his ski speed 2 days ago was only 8 seconds off the fastest. He's got to be believing in himself this time around.
Well, the Czechs have already taken 1 gold with, of course, Gabi Kukalova yesterday. Nice to see Tarjei Bø back on the scene. What is he going to do? Big mystery. His younger brother, Johannes Tingis, one of the favourites. He's quick enough to win if he can shoot clear. So an interesting situation in the Norwegian team. And the bulk of the Norwegians have decided to go in Group 4. Well, there you see the weather conditions at 5 degrees C. It's something that the Norwegians won't be happy about, because I think we may find that the warmer temperatures go longer into the afternoon, and that means that those starting late on will not get the advantage that those starting at the back of the field yesterday definitely did get. But it was only a 15-20 minute window, Mike, where the tracks got a little bit quicker, and those in the last 5 of the starters got the biggest benefit of all. Here's the course. It's a 10k race, of course, so 3 times round, a 3.33 kilometre loop.
Quite a profile, Patrick. 377 total climb. We're always between 340 and 385, so it's at the top end, and a lot of the climbing coming just prior to the range.
And the extra section on the right-hand side of the screen at the moment from previous races.
That's right. The tracks they've been on so far, 2.5 kilometre, 3.3 this time around.
Glorious, glorious skies, but the news from the weather office is not so promising for next week. They're expecting much warmer conditions. They think the individual races are going to be run in slush. If it goes up to +8 to +10, that's going to be tricky.
That's going to be a real test, and without a doubt, those who start early on will have the better opportunity before the tracks give way and become like a big swamp. Which does happen. I've heard it's predicted to be as warm as +15 next week, and that's a pity.
Well, we won't see too many of the big names starting late on, that's for sure. And that's one thing, that the conditions here and the timing of the event actually has been crucial. Were the event starting half an hour later, I think we'd see many more of the favourites deciding that Group 4 was the one to be in.
I think so. It's interesting that only the Scandinavians, Sweden and Norway, putting their main athletes in the last group, Group 3, at the end of Group 3, beginning of Group 4.
Fourcade looks as though he means business. He says this is the one he wants to win. We are going to see him blast out of the stadium like something we've never seen before. I just get the feeling, Mike, that with the head-to-head with the Russian team and Shapulin in particular, I think Fourcade not only is hungry for gold, he's hungry just to prove a point, and he's angry as well. And for most athletes, that would be a disaster. But for Fourcade, he seems to feed off it.
Well, I was wondering, could it go the other way? But he's such a he is the strongest, mentally the strongest biathlete I think we've ever seen. He just doesn't get put off by anybody. He dictates tactics. But without a doubt, it was a ruffle of his feathers at the press conference. That went on into the night and into the next morning. And I do believe they've got the friendship back now, Shapulin and Fourcade, with a kind of an apology from each of them.
Fourcade with 10 gold medals from World Championships, 9 silver, 2 bronze. Compare that to Bjorndalen, 13, 7 and 2. Fourcade is only 1 medal behind. ...103 starters in all starting 30 seconds apart, so it's going to be roughly 51 minutes to get them all out on the tracks. The first 50 will have finished before number 103, which is Max Davis of Canada, gets underway. Davis will be hoping that the temperatures drop back down to around 1-2 degrees by the time he starts. That would help speed the tracks up. Vladimir Iliev of Bulgaria is going to be the first man away. This definitely his best discipline. He looked good in the European Championships, Mike, where he was taking on the likes of Loganov and some of the other Russians, and he did brilliantly in Oslo last year, finishing 10th.
He did, and he's shown even better results this year. Of course, the 5th in the sprint in Novo Mesto, and that was shooting the perfect score. He is on his best form at the moment.
Dominic Vindish, plenty of fans here supporting the Italian team. He was looking good in Oslo last year. He finished 3rd in the sprint in Oberhof, so don't rule Dominic Vindish out. He did win in Canada last year at the end of the season, and of course a 5th place in the World Championships in Oslo. So if he can go 1 better, or 2 better, or even 3 better, the Italians will be happy. And the Italian women doing so well yesterday.
Very much. Hofer, interestingly, when, as you said, in Oberhof, Vindish was 3rd. Hofer was 4th, just pushed off the podium by Vindish.
Hofer, junior world champion back in 2009. He took bronze in the mass start in the World Championships in 2011, so he occasionally has a good run. It's not been a brilliant season for Hofer, but if he produces his best skiing and his best shooting, he is potential medal. This man, if he produces his best, he's unbeatable. Martin Fourcade, the defending champion, 4 out of 5 sprint wins this season. He's gone clear in 3 out of 5. And a 0-0 almost definitely required to win today's race.
I love the way he starts. He gets up to maximum speed faster than anybody. So fast out of the start gate.
Away he goes. And we'll get splits on Fourcade all the way around the race. And we'll get a couple of splits on the first loop, so we'll get some idea of how fast the individuals have gone off. Kazakhstan next with Savitsky. Still no results from the test that happened, what was it, 3 nights ago. The Kazakhs' accommodation was raided, which happens to be our accommodation as well. So a busy night with the local constabulary visiting the hotel.
It's a bizarre situation, really, isn't it? You're at the World Championships, you're raided, 30 policemen in the corridors checking everything, and it didn't seem to unsettle them. They did very well in the mixed relay the next day. They've a lot of glum faces at breakfast, but you'd expect that. Iliev already round to 1.1 kilometre. Time is good, 2:24. But I would expect Martin Fourcade will take 3-4 seconds off that. Look how wet this hill is already, and I know the helpers, the volunteers have been scraping the deeper snow off, but that's going to become slower as the race gets on. Beatrix, of course, 5 Frenchmen able to start because Martin Fourcade is the reigning sprint champion from last year.
Well, perhaps this is an opportunity to run through the teams. Fourcade, Beatrix, Fillon-Maillet, Destieux and Simon Fourcade racing for France. Surely they can produce a medal performance from that list of 5. Russia have Garanichev, Babikov, Shapulin, Svetkov. No Loganov in the Russian team, which is a little bit of a surprise, having seen his performance in the mixed relay. Norway have gone with Oleine Bjorndalen. Tarjei Bo is back, his first big race of the season, his first race of the season. He's done 1 interval session. That was good enough to persuade the Norwegian coaches to put him in.
It's quite amazing. I know the team said for team spirit and generally how the team feels when Tarjei is there, he contributes a lot to the team. Everybody wanted him. Who knows, he might be able to get top 5, maybe even a medal.
Well, that would be sensational for Tarjei Bo. He starts number 84. His brother starts 96. That's Johannes Tingis. And then Svensson starting 101 out of the 103 starters. Germany have gone with Lesser, Pfeiffer, Schemp and Doll. A pretty young team, really. Average age 27. Compare that to the Austrians, Eberhardt, Landeting and Mesetic and Ada, 33 the average age.
And they've got the young Felix Leitner not included, the Austrian team.
Garanichev, 6th in Oslo last year. He's had 1 win in his career, and that was in Oslo back in 2012. So it would be a big surprise if Garanichev produced a victorious run. Julian Eberhardt is next to go. Here he is, the only man other than Fourcade to have won a sprint this season. He won in Oberhof. He then finished 2nd in the sprint event in Ruhpolding. Mike, crucial. How do these tracks suit someone like Eberhardt?
They really suit him. He's a very tall lad, but he's very lightweight for his size. Great leverage. He knows this track very well. The only thing that concerns me is his shooting.
Well, just looking at 1.1, Fourcade leading at the moment, 2.7 clear of Vindish. Viliev, 3.3 behind. Lucas Hopper, 3.4. Vega of Switzerland, 4.1. And Savitsky of Kazakhstan, 5 seconds off the pace after just 1,100 metres. Semenov goes, the bronze medalist from 12 months ago in Oslo, 23rd in the sprint standing. So again, it would be a surprise if he could repeat that. But Semenov's one of those men who does it on the big occasions.
You know, you get a few athletes who can raise their game on 4 days in the year or every 2 years, every 4 years at the Olympics. He's one of these characters. Did ski fast as well 2 days ago.
Iliev, the first one through 2.3, 5:25 on the clock. That's pretty quick. Fourcade just making his way back up to the stadium end of the meadows. This is a section we saw with Aber just before the race. It extended his lead to 4.8 over Iliev. He was 3.3 clear at 1.1, so steady pace. He does quite a lot of skiing on the with the skate 2, Mike, but then switching slightly earlier than normal to skate 1 on the first lap.
I was just getting a feeling there from Fourcade that there's not quite as dynamic. Of course, he's setting the fastest time. There's just something for me missing, unless he's holding back like Dalmeyer did yesterday, take it relatively easy on the first lap.
I just want to remind you, Osterson, Pacuca, Nova Mesto, the first lap was always slow. I think we said exactly the same thing on each of those laps. And then what happens? He produces a final lap 15 seconds quicker than anyone.
Just trying to get the body language there. He's just so strong, using the upper body weight, stomach muscles lock each time he compresses down. This is the new part of the track, and it's not easy. 10 kilometers, 377 meters climb, as I said earlier. That's a test. It's a real test.
9.6 inside now, and on the tougher parts of the course, he's doing a lot of damage. What about Eberhardt? 1.5 outside. He'll be a bit disappointed when he gets that split, but look at the soft snow already, Mike. A real advantage to have got in the first 3 or 4.
I think so, and I think as the race, it's not quite like yesterday. It's 2 or 3 degrees warmer, and this track will break up.
Yeah, I think the Norwegians have made a mistake. When it's so marginal, and yesterday it literally was 15 minutes. 15 minutes from the end, it started to get a little quicker. Kukalova saying every lap, and she started just about last. It got that fraction quicker, and she knew from the glide she was getting on the downhill sections.
And she said in the press conference, the first thing she said, I really have to thank my coaches. They got it right. They put me at the very back.
Yeah.
And that's a tough place to start. And that's where Svensson finds himself today. Start number 101.
But as we watch Iliev, I had a look at the weather report from yesterday and today, and it was noticeable that the temperature was going to stay at 4 to 5 degrees, an hour and a half, 2 hours longer than it did yesterday. That was there for anyone to see. That wasn't even, you know, that wasn't even employing the Norwegian special meteorologist who may well get sacked after today.
We'll have to wait and see, but I must admit, my instinct was that, is that the right decision? I certainly questioned it.
Let's see how Vindish gets on. Well, first shot's gone wide.
Iliev missed one as well. Vindish taking longer than normal. He's normally about 14, 15 seconds for shot release.
The first 5 athletes, Mike, none of them cleared in the women's sprint yesterday. We're 2 out of 2 so far with failures.
Who would bet against Martin Fourcade missing in the Prone? He's 94% hit rates this season so far in the Prone. And he should be in. In fact, there he is already into the range. 14 seconds faster than Iliev, 15 seconds faster than Vindish. That's incredible skiing.
Now, is it going to take the normal length of time to prepare for the first shot? We had a fantastic caption yesterday telling us exactly how long they spend in preparation. Where's it going?
Very slow.
It has gone left. That's a disastrous start. Now he's on target. 1, 2, the last one in the 10. That's probably an 8, clipping the 8 line, and a 9, but a foolish mistake from Martin Fourcade.
He wasn't quite settled. Look at the 16.2 seconds to the first shot. He has this season extended it as far as 18, 19 seconds.
Well, now he's got to ski himself to victory. He's made life pretty tough. You wouldn't bet against him missing in the stand position, Mike. Particularly the last 5 targets has been his trademark this season. I just feel, and I watched him earlier this morning, I just feel there's something unsettled. But he is the strongest head in biathlon, I think, that we've ever seen. But now he's got a real fight on his hands if he wants this title again. Now, we've seen his best skiing when he's been chasing a mark. He's not going to be chasing anyone by the time he comes out of the range for the second time. Eberhardt goes through, now 5.5 behind. I wouldn't be too worried if I was an Austrian fan, because pacing is all important. And if anyone knows how to get the pacing right on this course, it's Julian Eberhardt. It is. Roller ski in the summer, you can do that on these tracks. Most of the tracks, not all of them. Well, what went wrong? He just wasn't settled. It missed to the left. That's a huge miss in biathlon terms. Missed by some 7-8 millimeters. And he wasn't the only French fan with a look of anguish on his face. Now to one of the top German competitors, Eric Lesser. Very, very good form we saw from him in Oberhof, the first World Cup after the Christmas break. A 5th. Well, in fact, 2 5th positions and a 2nd in the sprint, the pursuit, and the mass start there. He's an Olympic silver medalist from Sochi. Pretty important, actually, when you're at a Worlds, to have done something at a major championships before. It is, and Lesser's had a variable season, but he has had 3 5ths. One day he's good, the next day he's not so good. He's down in the 30s.
but if you can get 3 times fifth at a World Cup, you can win a medal today, and that's what he'll be thinking.
Dominic Landertinger giving away 4.6. I think I'll put 50% of that deficit down to the fact that the snow on the climbs and the corners is already significantly softer than it was for the first couple of runners. Now, Granichev for Russia. 0-1 he shot in the last World Championships. Still managed to finish in 6th place. Granichev's time 9.5 behind at 2.3. Savitsky leading for Kazakhstan at the moment.
That was some pace that Martin Fourcade went round a penalty loop. Granichev
left again. The last 2 went left, but number 4 far too wide. It was as bad a miss as we saw from Martin Fourcade. Only 2 men out of 7 clear so far. Beatrix of France we didn't see, but he's missed 2. 48.6 his margin behind the leaders. Now, what about Eberhard?
I love the way he built his position, Patrick. That's his mind. He used to be unsettled building position. It was
right,
comfortable this
low
time.
left. He's all over the shot, but he throws number 5 wide. That could cost him the gold medal. I was just about to say he shot clear in Oberhof, he shot clear in Ruhpolding, but 1 miss from Eberhard puts him on a level pegging with Martin Fourcade. Looked to have shot a little bit quicker than the Frenchman. We'll see how the time is.
He certainly shot a lot faster. His total time from stop to start, 24.9 seconds. That's big risk.
Yeah, the average in the women's race yesterday, 28.8.
It's still fast. We saw some of the earlier starters a little nervous, taking their time. Didn't help most of them.
9.8 off Savitsky. Eberhard into 4th position at the moment, and he's got a 6-second deficit to Martin Fourcade. Agony and ecstasy in the crowd.
It was quite amazing. The shot landed practically in the exact same spot as Martin Fourcade's shot that he missed.
Yeah, just a fraction higher, but Fourcade missed number 1. Eberhard missed number 5. I'm not sure, were they working opposite directions?
Yeah, that's what I thought originally. I thought it was the same target.
So, Savitsky, 7 off, Fourcade, 1, 2, 3. Remember, Fourcade has missed a target, so reaping the rewards of a pretty fast first lap. Conditions look to be getting slower as the race goes on, and you sure wouldn't want to be starting in the 30s. Slightly puzzled by the German coaches' selection, Mike. They've put Lesser in Group 1, but Pfeiffer, Schemp, Doll in Groups 2 and 4.
I can't understand that. From what we saw, weather predictions at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon was you'd want to put your athletes early. And you can see how deep it is here, yeah. The snow becoming quite a bit deeper.
Yeah, much worse than yesterday. And I was just going to say, if the temperature does drop down to freezing, that is not going to be nice to ski on. It may be quick, but it's not going to be comfortable, and it's not going to be as efficient. It uses far more energy skiing over rough snow. Do you think that's one of the reasons that they ski faster nowadays? Because the track preparation is so much better?
The track preparation is wonderful. It's wider. The surface normally is pretty well pressed down. And of course, the ski structure a little different. Stiff skis, good spring return.
Leif Norgren for USA on the range as well. He did brilliantly in Oslo a year ago, finishing 18th, having shot 10 out of 10. We've still only got 1, 2, 3 athletes clear. Savitsky, Semenov and Vega, all 3 of them in the top 4 of the standings at the moment.
What about this? Lithuania looks like, Kaukanas looks like he may well take the lead here.
I think he will.
That's brilliant.
Number 15.
That is brilliant. Love to see new nations showing that they can mix it with the best.
A 3.4 advantage for Kaukanas, and starting early, or early-ish, he's in a very, very good position, but he has to back it up with a clear shoot in the stand. Even so, he's unlikely to beat Martin Fourcade, who's now got into a 24-second lead, despite the fact that he missed the target.
It's quite unbelievable. Pfeiffer showed incredible stability on the range, didn't use any spare rounds in the relay.
Listen to the reception from the crowd. This man, after his efforts in the mixed relay, hugely popular amongst the German fans. and he took the third leg. Okay, it's not the pressure leg, but my goodness, he made a big difference.
He did, but by my estimation, Pfeiffer is some 30, maybe 35 seconds off the fastest ski time. He needs all 10 shots to go down.
And while we watch Landertinger, just remember that Pfeiffer took this title in 2011. It's long overdue. He got himself another World Championship medal.
This is good skiing from Landertinger. He's only 13 behind Fourcade. Coming into the range.
His teammate lists the last one. He's missed number 4. He makes sure of number 5. So many of the big names. This is just like what we saw in the women's race yesterday. So many of the early favourites making 1, even 2 mistakes on the pro. Iliev in for the stand. He's been pretty good with a rifle. He was very good at the European Championships. That's a nice way to finish. 9 out of 10 for Iliev. And just looking further down, later starters, Landertinger, as you say, Mike, 7.5 off the pace. What a shame about his missed target. There he goes, off the penalty loop. And Landertinger, after shoot number 1, has gone into 9th position, 20 seconds behind the leaders.
Findish, well, he missed 1 in the pro, and so far 1 in the stand. 2 penalties. His 5th from last year at these championships. I don't think that's the case this time round.
A little bit of breeze greeting Martin Fourcade as he comes in for the second shoot. It is certainly getting stronger. I'm just looking, it looks as though lanes 1 to 5 reasonably protected. Again, he misses shot number 1. There won't be another mistake, surely. That's solid. Back to business as usual.
Well,
the World Championships has been won with 2 misses before, but not for a very, very long time. Lars Berger actually won here in a World Cup, what was it, 2014? He missed 0-2. So in the same sort of situation, Martin Fourcade on that occasion finished in 2nd place, having hit all 10. That's how quick Berger was.
Look at Fourcade. I still think there's something different about him today. He had a restless night with all the... He got so many threats after his comments at the press conference. It's got to rattle even the strongest mind.
Yeah, he looks a little drained in those legs. I'm starting to agree with you now, but we might see something special.
Oh, it's still special.
He's produced some unbelievable results. 13.2 clear despite the 2 misses. Savitsky, who was right up there after the first shoot, then missing 2 in the stand.
It's incredible, these small moments in time where you've got to keep that rifle still. Huge pressure with the World Championships as well.
Now, what about Benny Vega? Looks a little bit like Mickey Rourke, who's gone for a similar quantity of facial hair for the season. Not a bad idea when you're training up in Scandinavia in November, December. But you would have thought with this heat, Mike, you want it off.
Oh, I would have thought so. I really hoped that Vega would get 5, and that would have set him up for a top position exiting the range, but he's missed 2.
What a shame. What a shame. That's a real disappointment. He would have been there or thereabouts.
Vorschlager, he knows what it feels like. Used to race for Germany. He's coaching the Swiss team. So disappointed.
Fourcade still leading after the second shoot, despite those 2 misses. So 16:40 the target time. The Norwegians now, are they going to be sitting in the waxing huts watching this on the box, sort of saying, okay, we know what we've got to do, or do you think you'd try and keep them away from the race altogether?
Do you know, I think at the team brief last night, the coaches would have said, put your headphones on, keep away from looking at scoreboards. You can't but be aware when you come out to warm up or in the final warm-up pen, but you need to keep away from what's happening.
Now, you could have cut the targets in half, and Pfeiffer still would have hit them in the mixed relay. He didn't look like missing at any single stage. Is Garanichev going to be the first man to shoot the perfect score? No, he's not. He missed, of course, he missed number 4 on the first round.
Garanichev, but he's such a good pursuit athlete. So often he moves up from 29th to 5th, from even further, 36th to 10th. But he always makes it a difficult job for himself through not performing as expected in this race. Better today.
16.1, roughly 1.92 seconds in between each shot. Julian Eberhardt is in for his second shoot. This has got to be perfect, and it's got to be fast.
He's only 14 seconds into the range of Fourcade's time. Second fastest on the track, Eberhardt. so far.
Number 4. Number 5 in the first shoot, number 4 in the second. He's got the same score as Martin Fourcade, and at the moment he's travelling that little bit slower, but we might see an explosion of pace from Eberhard. Let's hope so. We need the host nation to get somewhere near the podium, if not on it. Semenov, bronze medal, last time round in Oslo. There's his chance gone of a clear shoot. Only 13.3 to that first shot.
That's 2 massive flinches. We're looking at the end of his rifle, 3 massive flinches. He knew he could win today, but he had to get 5. His ski speed is that good. And there he goes and blows it. Sinatra just not happy, can't understand it at all. Semenov shoots so well.
Now, I think there's one Scott Dixon on the range at the moment. We'll do our best to find out how he's getting on.
Come on, Scotty boy.
Wearing bib number 28. Outside the top 90 in Oslo, despite hitting 9 out of 10. Really, Scott needs to hit all 10. Here's Martin Fourcade. He missed that first shot again. The next 4 didn't provide a problem. But 2 misses for Martin Fourcade, and the French, they're not used to losing. Ooh la la. But don't forget, Fourcade was the first of the French to go. They've got 4 more. Beatrix, Fillon-Maillet, Dessieux, and Simon Fourcade. That would be a good occasion. It's about time the older brother got his own way, and Simon Fourcade starting number 75, so he's got a few minutes before he gets underway. Arndt Pfeiffer has left, he's gone through 2.3. Pfeiffer started number 32. He's produced a very fast time. We're expecting him in to shoot any moment now. Fourcade, is he being challenged out there? Well, he's certainly going ahead of Iliev, no doubt about that. He's got a 16-second lead over Iliev, who just missed 1 target. But is it going to be enough? And of course, Mike, if he's off the podium, if he's 30 seconds adrift of the winner today, he makes his life difficult in the pursuit tomorrow.
He very much does. When you've got Pfeiffer, Schemp, Benedict Doll, who's in good form. One of these guys have to shoot the perfect score.
3.3 between shots 1 and 2, 2.8, 2.1, getting faster and faster as we go along, and he clears all 5. Arndt Pfeiffer's going to challenge that leading time of 8.03 from Kaukanas, but Kaukanas then missing in the standing position. Or has he been through? Actually, Kaukanas hasn't quite got into the range for the second time. Here he is. Yeah, he has missed. 4 out of 5.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Kept his nerve at the end. Looking at the range, it's very calm on the far right, lanes 1 to 5, and then pretty windy in the mid part and a little quieter far left as well.
Yeah, I think we've got a wave of wind. It's being pushed up by the buildings on the left of the range. It drops down, bounces off the ground and rises again. So lanes 25 to 30 are calm. Lanes 1 to 5 are pretty calm. Not quite as good as 25 to 30.
It's unusual to get that contrast within just 4 or 5 different lanes. Well, the winning time, it's going to be, we'd expect later, under 24 minutes.
Well, so often it's around the 21-minute mark, or 23-minute mark is pretty standard this season. Martin Fourcade, he's once been under the 23, 22.34 in Ruhpolding, the last of the sprints. The slowest sprint was Oberhof, 27.26. Does that tell you it's a long course, or the conditions were bad? The conditions were certainly bad on that occasion. Now, what can Landertinger do? Needs 5 to get back in the race, having missed 1 in the pro. This is the only venue where he gets such a response to every shot.
Huge pressure on the Austrian lads. This is where they train. They've got all the family here. It's different.
Yeah, had they had a bit more success in the mixed relay, Mike, I think that would have calmed the nerves a little. Into the finishing straight, and Martin Fourcade has certainly given it 100% over the last 3.3 kilometres. It's going to be an impressive time. 23.46 on the clock at the moment. He's sub 24 minutes, and that's a respectable time. Certainly, it could be good enough to medal. Will it win? Not if some of the big names go clear, but no one has done so far.
I love the way he's exhausted, but he always unclips those skis normally when he's moving and just walks off as if he's not out of breath.
One day he'll get it wrong. Now, Quentin Fillon-Maillet. 1 miss in the prone. 16 through the stand shoot. No one has hit the perfect score so far. Nordgren of USA's hit 9. Iliev's hit 9. Goranichev hit 9.
Fiumaye is going to miss 3. The flags again, this middle part of the range, lanes 22 down to lane 8. It seems to be much more windy.
Now, Julian Eberhardt came out of the range 13.6 behind. He's still 13 behind, so travelling at the same speed as Martin Fourcade, but he gave away too much time on that middle loop. He was 5 seconds down after 1, 13 seconds down after 2. Eric Lesser, big opportunity for him. 15.51. He's got ample time to get inside Fourcade 16.40.
The wind is blowing. You can see a thread on his carrying harness blowing quite strong.
Is this World Championship nerves? This is extraordinary. We've not seen Eric Lesser miss 3 in a row for a long, long time.
Well, the wind, I mentioned that thread blowing in the wind, but that was a thread. It wasn't such a strong wind at that time.
Savitsky, who cleared in the prone and led after that first shoot for a while, 59 seconds off the pace after his 2 misses. Going back to that first shoot, Pfeiffer leads, Kaukanos second, Savitsky 3, who's just finished, and Semenov 4. Away goes the king of biathlon. I think we can call him that, Mike. We're now in debate as to whether he's the best ever or Fourcade is the best ever. But Ole-Einar Bjorndalen, quite sensational, 43 years old. And here he is. He starts as a genuine contender. He is not an also-ran.
Do you know, the way things are working out today, the shooting hasn't been good by anybody. Lesser, yes, good in the prone. He missed 3 in the stand. Schempp has already missed. We didn't see it. He's missed 1 in the prone. Still to come in for his stand. What about Shapulin? The grudge match, a little unstable there.
He's not going to be far off that time of 2:20. I suspect he's being fed information on Martin Fourcade's times. He'll be 1 or 2 seconds outside, no more than that, 2.3. And Anton Shapulin is there or thereabouts. A 10 out of 10 from him, and you'd expect him to be able to beat that time set by Martin Fourcade. Currently 23.50 leading. Goranichev going for a top 2. Iliev on 24.15 is beaten down into 3rd place. And Goranichev, whatever happens, is going to have a decent start in the pursuit. He won't be first, and he's unlikely to be in the top 5, but he'll be in a good position to challenge. And he's pretty good at the head-to-heads.
He certainly is. I'm surprised Goranichev didn't manage more than 22 behind Fourcade.
Eberhardt was 13 seconds down. He's done well over the last kilometre. 12.2 the margin. Goranichev now down to 3.
Is this going to be a very unusual World Championships, as it has been so far, where 2 athletes missing 2 shots could remain on the podium? It's unusual, but not impossible.
Yeah, if the conditions, if it doesn't get colder, Mike, you wouldn't expect the Norwegians to be able to challenge from start numbers 96 and 101. But Simon Schempp starting 34. He's out on the course at the moment. Simon Schempp going through the first split point was 8.7 down after just 2.3 kilometers. So he's struggling with the conditions. Here's Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. If there's one man who can ski when the snow is soft and it doesn't affect his speed, it is Bjorndalen.
Yeah, that's right. 5'10" in height, very, very lightweight. I think just about 65 kilos. He just floats over the surface, and he showed that in his early years. On wet days, he was the champion. That's a great start pace. Arne Edlund running up the right side, just trying to shout that information to him.
Sticks to skate 2. It builds the lactate, but if you can keep the tempo nice and high, it's not too bad. What about Anton Shapulin? He surely wouldn't have wanted to go number 52 today. Early or late, and again, Mike, if you were a coach and you thought, OK, Kukalova did well starting last, surely you would have said, OK, I'll put 2 of my good guys in the first group, 2 in the last.
I think I would have taken a risk of going early, because the predictions were quite clear. It wasn't going to be quite the same as yesterday, a little warmer. But yes, if you have medal hopefuls, you want to try and spread that risk, I suppose.
But that's the joy of, you know, being able to put your athletes essentially where you want, although you can't put all 4 of them into the same group. Simon Destieux, he's having the same joy as the rest of the French squad. Fiumaye missing, Fourcade missing, Destieux missing. What is going on?
Destieux was shooting on lane, I think that was lane 2, or was it lane 3? So he was up the right hand. It was quite quiet there. Pfeiffer's just soldiered on. He's just kept, not the fastest ski time, but strong.
You don't think Simon Fourcade is going to be the quickest Frenchman today, do you? He's had a good race here before. He's...
You know, that would be a great day for Simon Fourcade, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think even on a clear, he won't match his brother's time.
So, Pfeiffer, 5 out of 5 in the prone. Remember, he hit all 10 at the first time of asking in the mixed relay. That was a nice first shot, but number 2's gone wide, number 3's gone wide. Meltdown for Pfeiffer, even he's human.
I can't believe that. The wind, honestly, was so gentle there. It wasn't affecting. You can see the flags picking up a little. It's such a variable day. It's not horrendously strong wind, but it's affecting them.
Simon Schempp has also missed for Germany. He's gone through the first shoot, and so...
well, there's an awful lot of big names having problems on the range. Maybe Fourcade can win with 2 penalties.
Well, I can tell you, Simon Schemp's given away 12 seconds to Martin Fourcade, having missed the same number of targets. That would suggest that those who started between 1 and 10 had a real advantage.
Pfeiffer had 20 seconds advantage on Fourcade coming in for that stand shoot. A gift.
His second sprint title has been... the opportunity's gone, I think, with those 2 misses, and coming off the penalty loop twice, Mike. That's one of the softest sections out there. It's been heavily used today.
Look at his time.
6.5 outside. So a race is on, but you'd still back Fourcade at this stage. Now, Simon Schempp has got to go clear. He can match that best time, Mike, but it has to be 5. 1 miss, and he's going to find himself 25 seconds or so behind the leaders. Schempp in 15th place, coming round that second loop. Great shooting. Fantastic shooting from Simon Schempp. What about that 1 miss in the prone? That could be his undoing today, but I think he'll get a little more life in the legs. A second wind, having cleared all 5 on the stand. He breaks to his right. Out comes Schempp, 3.2 behind. So Fourcade's time now being chased by both Pfeiffer and Schempp.
Well, so many are chasing Fourcade's time. Garanishev's only 4 seconds off. Pfeiffer 6.5. Iliev, of course, has already finished way behind.
Well, we haven't seen him, but Koiv of Estonia has shot the perfect score. He's one of only 2 men to have done it. And Christian Gau of Canada's gone clear, and he's in the top 10, having exited the range for the 2nd time. Well, there are the standings at the finish. Fourcade, Eberhardt, Garanichev, none of them clear, as you can see. 3 misses from Landertinger, and he's still only 48 seconds behind. Each lap will have taken him roughly 25, 26 seconds. And the penalty loop is going to get more and more costly as the day goes on. I don't think I've ever seen so many penalty loops in the sprint event. It's
quite amazing, actually. A lot of it is to do with the entrance into the range as well as Bjorn Dahlen. I'm just looking out the window. I think that's Bjorn Dahlen coming in. Surprised we're not on him.
Bjorn Dahlen starting number 55. Obviously coming in for his prone shoot. Here he is.
So time into the range. It's good. He's only 12 off Fourcade's fastest time.
Slightly left, but comfortably inside. Same margin, but over on the right-hand side. He needs the next 3 in the middle. The first one is 2 more to go for Bjorn Dahlen. Number 4 goes down. He could join the leaders. He will do after his first shoot. He's not going to match Pfeiffer, but it doesn't matter at this stage. The next 5 targets down, and who knows, can Bjorn Dahlen possibly add the world title to the Olympic title he took in 2014? Well, he's won this many, many times before. Last time Bjorn Dahlen won the World Championships was in 2014. That was the Olympic Games. Of course, that was the Olympic Games.
My brain, that threw me there. That is 2014 Olympics. His first World Cup win 21 years ago, Bjorn Dahlen. and looking pretty good.
I think we have to go back to 2009 when he last won the Worlds, but of course he won here in 2005 on these very tracks, although the design is slightly different.
What about Anev? This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. This is the chance of his lifetime, his career with the 0-0. That's going to be out ahead of Martin Fourcade.
Now he has got to produce the ski of his life. The Bulgarians did well at the European Championships, Mike, and I think it was actually quite good for them to be racing there, being up amongst the leaders. They got used to that pressure of knowing that a good performance will put them into the top three. He's 11.2 inside. Or can he hang on to that? Don't forget that he's got effectively a 50-second advantage over Fourcade. I still think Fourcade is going to hang on in there. There's only one man who can miss two and hope to win. Johannes Tingis on his very best form, maybe, but Martin Fourcade certainly. Well, the Bulgarian fans loving every minute of this, and it's nice to see them up there. They're in the finish at the moment. They're in fourth place with Iliev, who shot 9 out of 10. He's only 25 seconds, so 10 out of 10, and Iliev would have been inside Martin Fourcade's time. Only one man in the finish has gone clear. That's Christian Gower, Canada, who's now been pushed down into 12th place. Guaranteed a start in the pursuit, and a very good one as well. What about Tim Burke for USA? Didn't race in the mixed relay.
Well, his wife at the World Championships here, Henkel, she took a gold and a silver. Hope she's talked about the pressure.
Just have a look at his right eyebrow. Just seems to be a little bit of tension.
Oh, he's missed 2. He would have been out pressing for the podium, certainly in podium position, but he's now got to go round the penalty loop.
So that's 300 metres, back towards 8.9. Arndt Pfeiffer, who was just off the pace of Martin Fourcade coming out of the range. He was some 6 seconds down on Fourcade. Where's the position for Pfeiffer? 22.13 the time he was after. He's going to struggle to close that gap in the closing stages, Mike.
He certainly is. It's all going backwards at the moment for Pfeiffer.
It was 6 seconds, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be a long way outside. Yeah.
Doesn't this just show the incredible athlete that Martin Fourcade is, to still be surviving with all these big names? So, okay, only 32 have been through this point, but a lot of the expected medalists are in that 32.
Now, Schempp was 3 seconds outside Fourcade's time, and Simon Schempp started exactly a minute behind Pfeiffer. So he's got about 40 seconds to come through that timing device if he's going to challenge Martin Fourcade. Schempp generally a quicker athlete than Arndt Pfeiffer by some 30 to 40 seconds on every sprint race so far this year. Here he comes. No, he's not going to match it either. It was 3. I think the conditions are playing a big part here. I know Fourcade was fantastic, Mike, but I think the snow conditions are certainly determining.
What a race, and of course, we've got the Austrian in there as well, Julian Eberhard. He really had a strong final lap.
Well, this is what you call a dynamic finish coming in from Pușinău of Romania. He's only 50.5 off the pace, and he's got himself into 7th position. 27 athletes now finished, and that goes down as a great run from him. The current standings as we watch Weissner of Switzerland, Fourcade, Eberhard, Goranichev, 1, 2, 3, Iliev in 4, Landertinger 5, Windisch of Italy in 6. Wiesner, I should say, throws away his chance of a 10, and he sticks on 80% hit rate today.
Do you know the sport has as a Pfeiffer comes in for what, 4th position?
25.1. Now it's got to be the snow. It has to be the snow.
I think it's a factor. It's without a doubt. We're seeing it in the sunny, where the sun is pressing on the hills, especially. The snow is a lot deeper. You have to raise your legs a lot higher to float across the surface. And that's a real pity for Pfeiffer. Take away that one miss, and he would have been so close, if not just ahead of Fourcade.
Simon Schempp should be able to go into the top two. Eberhard is 12 seconds down on Fourcade, as you can see. 23.50, 24.02.
He's broken his pole. His right pole doesn't have a basket on it. That's going to cost him 4 or 5 seconds.
It could well cost him more than that. That's desperately unlucky for Simon Schempp as he came into the stadium. His chance of a medal disappearing by the second. He's going to go into third position ahead of Goranichev. He could so easily have challenged Julian Eberhard for second. The fans here don't mind, but that is just desperately unlucky. We'll have a look at that. I think he must have clipped it. Here we go. I think he planted the pole inside the ski. He did. It's a classic mistake that only happens to these guys when they're on the edge of exhaustion.
That's incredible. The huge cost to these poles. They're very, very light, but you get them on the edge of your ski. That's what happens.
Koivu of Estonia has gone into 14th place. He's shot clear. He's 103 off the leaders. His best performance of the season so far. In the top 10, we have France, Austria, Germany, Russia, Bulgaria, Italy, Romania, Kazakhstan. How about that for a mix of nations? Now, familiar figure in the middle of the range, Anton Shapulin. One miss in the prone. 16.29 is Anef's time. Fourcade on 16.40, and with Shapulin throwing the first shot wide, exactly the same as Martin Fourcade. The win between those two is going to go to the Frenchman. And he misses number 5. Well, he's been affected by the spat as well.
You couldn't make this up. The shooting, Fourcade missing 2, Shapulin missing 2, Pfeiffer missing 2.
You don't need to make it up anymore. It's happening every day.
It's but look at that time there from Anev. He's plus 1.99 now. He went out, what, some 11 seconds ahead of Fourcade. As this race goes on and on, Fourcade is there in the mixed zone, just looking and wondering if maybe he can still win this on missing 2 shots.
I think he will, and he's going to win it on the fact that he's decided to go early, and he was fortunate in drawing an early bib number. He doesn't get a choice where he goes in group number 1, but he started number 4, and I think that's a massive advantage. Mike, Shapulin at 2.3, already giving away 9 seconds to Martin Fourcade. That does not happen unless the conditions are changing.
I can't but agree there. It looks still quite hard here, but this isn't on the sunny side, or the direct sunny side. Here's Bjorn Dahlen. It's fast.
No, the chance is gone. Medal's still a possibility for Uliana Bjorndalen. He took the silver in Oslo a year ago, and with 9 out of 10, my goodness, he's going to get that first shot. It'd be interesting to see where that went. Where do you think, Mike? A high right snatch, or you think over to the left, like so many?
I thought it was maybe low left, low right, but it was certainly a snatch. He looked so secure on those final shots.
Krasimir Anef with 10 out of 10. Good shooting from him, and it could earn him a top 2. He's still got 7 seconds to get inside Julian Eberhard. The Austrian is going down to 3rd, and Krasimir Anef goes into 2nd place. The Bulgarians have something to celebrate, and they've already got Iliev in 7th position at the moment, so a great day for them.
They've had wins before in the biathlon, but it's been in the women's field, of course. Gold medalist in 1998.
Well, the news from the range is that Bjorndalen has exited with a 2-second lead over Fourcade. Well, Anef in 2nd position. Now, we've got a chance to speak to the race leader, Martin Fourcade. We'll chat to him as soon as Simon Eder has finished his shoot. Watch the margins between each shot, 1.8, 1.7, 1.9. Phenomenally quick again, but he's got to hit the targets. 3 misses for Eder. He won't be anywhere near the podium. Here is Martin. He said, well, he's saying it's nothing to do with the... he said it wasn't to do with the wind, it was just his shooting. He's really disappointed with the way things went. He thought with 1 shot he could still win it, but he doesn't think he can win it with 2 misses.
He said it's cost him a podium today, but yeah, he's still there, and it's looking better and better as this race goes on.
I think they must have done that interview about 15 minutes ago, because he'll be watching what's going on out there. He'll be seeing so many of the fast skiers missing targets. He'll see so many of the strong skiers unable unable to match his speed. He'll know as well as anyone that the snow conditions are making a massive difference. Mike, we were lucky enough to have a ski this morning on the tracks. It was icy and quick and not very comfortable, but as soon as you went onto the piste, because at the moment you can ski absolutely anywhere, it's about 5 seconds slower per 100 meters. That's the sort of margins.
It is, but look at this. Svensson has to try and remain oblivious to what's gone on, oblivious to the fact that Fourcade has missed 2 and is still leading. Therefore, he knows if he hits 10 out of 10, he's got a strong chance of winning. All that's got to be kept out of his mind.
Yeah, well, I put a thermometer on the windowsill outside our commentary box and it's fallen off, so I can't tell you how far down the temperature has gone. It was 5 degrees at the start of the race. I'm just hoping we get the official figures so we can make an assessment as to what is happening with the tracks. But it's still, if it does cool down and get faster, Mike, it's not going to happen for another 15 minutes. Now, what about Bjorn Dahlen? A 2-second lead over Fourcade when we last saw him. Can he match that speed? I think it's highly unlikely, but he's still in line for a top 3.
Do you know what? This is going to be close. He can bring something special when he needs to his game. He's still ahead of Fourcade. The conditions, without doubt, are more broken up here, deeper, but as we said earlier, his light body frame.
He started 2 seconds clear of Fourcade. He still has 1 second in hand. Wouldn't it be some story if Oleiner Bjorn Dahlen is the man who can push Fourcade down into second place? It's still the Frenchman. He's on 33-1 to win today, so the book is still thinking he's got a chance, but I don't think they thought this was going to happen. Look how clever he is. He's as close to the advertising, as close to the horde of the fans as he can possibly get, because that is where the snow is coldest. That's where the snow is fastest.
Throughout his career, he's always been a leader of thinking. He would always cut the corners as best he could, would always look for the snow that was going to be a little quicker. He has that little hunting instinct, and I hope he finds all of it today to try and chase this down or keep his lead above Fourcade. That would be special.
What is going through his mind? He knows that Fourcade is a very, very strong finisher, and Fourcade's sprint finish was impressive. Freddie Lindström, can he do something for Sweden? It's not been a brilliant season for Lindström, but he has been a World Cup winner in the past, and if you can win a World Cup, some say it's easier to win a World Championship because there are less athletes from the big nations. 0-0 for Lindström. 7:52 was the time he was after. Pfeiffer's gone and missed, we know that, so he's not really a danger, and Lindström down into 20th place.
Lindström, that's disappointing. Now more of it's for me. I saw him in the corridor, wished him luck. His ski time in the relay was excellent. He had a terrible World Championships last year. He wanted to put it right this year, and it's looking good.
Yeah, that's a great start from Moravec, 11.6. Bjorn Dahlen went out of the stadium 8.2 behind, so he's only a couple of seconds behind Oleiner Bjorn Dahlen. Benedikt Doll, he's in there. That is quick. Now, that might be an indication that the snow is suddenly starting to get a little bit quicker, because Benedikt Doll you'd expect to be 10 seconds behind after one loop. He's nothing like it. He's 5 seconds behind Pfeiffer and well clear of Martin Fourcade. So this race is far from over, and we've still got the 2 Bow brothers and, of course, Emil Hegler Svensson to come through the first chute. Wiesner into the finish, 2 misses on the stand through his chances. It's still a very, very good run from Wiesner. I think the Swiss will be delighted with that. It'd be interesting to have a chat with Maddie Simon, who's commentating next door to us. Now, here is Tarjei Bø. The time, Mike, not too bad. It's not quite as quick as we were hoping.
He's taking his time to get his breath back. He's so long. It's been such a long time since he was at the races.
Couple of clicks anti-clockwise.
This will be, what, 19 seconds before the first shot release, because he's not in good condition. 22 seconds, that's an age in terms of the best. Then fast shooting. Beautiful.
2.3s. Ada, as you saw, 1.7s, 1.8s in between each of the shots. A really good inclusion to the captions, just show you the difference between them. So from 1 second ahead of Fourcade, Mike, the margin it's swinging away from him.
He's still in the balance on that 3rd spot, but the hill has kept him back. He's lost time on that hill to of course, the Austrian, to Eberhard.
Yeah. 10 minutes later on the start, and it might have made a difference. Svensson could be the lucky man. This is where the Norwegian coaches are crossing their fingers. They put all their eggs into one basket. They put all their skiers late on, as late as they possibly could do. They're 3 favourites in Group 4, Bjorndalen in Group 3. Anton Chapulin goes 51.6 seconds behind, and those 3 misses costing him a chance of a medal and costing him possibly a chance of a medal in the pursuit as well.
If you have a bad day in the sprint with the pursuit coming up tomorrow, it knocks your chances down. And I would like to see that the timings from today have to give those further down the rankings a little bit of a chance. Great names like Chapulin, it's a huge margin to pull back.
Bjorndalen will be into the stadium. Here he is. Now, he doesn't want to break a pole here. Anef on 24 minutes, I think, is going to survive in second place, but Eberhardt on 24.02 might be in danger. 4 seconds to get inside the medal positions. No, Bjorndalen's just going to miss out this time round. It's a wonderful performance, but he will have known when he missed that standing shot that his chance of a medal had pretty much gone. If they'd all gone down, Bjorndalen would be sitting in gold medal position.
3.1 seconds. The difference between 4th and 3rd at the moment. What an athlete, though. What an absolute star. What a legend. You know, I mean, I think it's thrown around too much, this word legend, but 21 years ago he won his first World Cup. At the moment, 4th today. Just didn't have the strength on the final climb.
Well, it's the first World Championships he's competed in as a dad. Just a couple of seconds between Bjorndalen and the podium places, but the race is not done quite yet. We need to get a mark on Svensson when he comes through 1.1. He's going to be a few seconds outside. If he's within 4 or 5, that could turn around later on in the day. Remember Kukalova, Mike, she started near enough to 100 yesterday. She had a 1.7 lead over Dalmar when she went through this very section.
Yes, she did. I noticed that the volunteers are scraping the top off this hill at the top of the snow because it is becoming so deep. That's going to help the later starters, but it's certainly not an advantage going now.
No, he didn't pick up on young Scott Dixon.
Well, I did.
Well, the silence tells us a lot.
Well, what a pity. It looks like his ski speed's way, way better than it has been all season. But if you miss 5 out of your 10 targets, he missed 4 in the prone. Went into the middle of the range, lane 14. The last of the prone is on 15. It was pretty windy, but it's been the same for all. But he will be disappointed. He'll be gutted.
And the reason he went for 14 is because that is where he zeroed his weapon. It might have been worth having a look. I don't know whether 1, 2, 3, 4 were available, but he might have been better up there.
Yes, there were. No, I think the thinking, he zeroed on lane 28, actually, on the, okay, way further down. And it was the sensible decision. Obviously, he got the advice from Danny Graff, his coach, who's been working so well with him and has lifted his ski performance massively. But what a pity. When you feel better physically, you sometimes take more chances on the shooting. And you miss, you take a little bit of risk, and it's easy, as we've seen with so many people today, big names making mistakes as well.
Well, Johannes Tingis Bo started late. We've seen Tarja Bo go through 2.3, and he's down in 17th position at the moment, 10 seconds off the leaders. Benedict Doll coming up towards 5.6. And he's 12.2 outside, so he's still in with a shout of going for the podium. And of course, at that stage, he's inside Martin Fourcade's time.
Benedict Doll, well, you know, if he's got a weakness, it's his stand shoot, but his form, his ski speed is excellent. Oh, Bailey's just knocked all 10 down. Look at his time, America, what a great day.
Well, that is fantastic for Lowell Bailey. 0.5, he's 2.5 seconds inside Martin Fourcade, so he's got to do something. It's not over, he's got to keep fighting all the way. Anton Simapov for Bulgaria. The Bulgarians already have 2 in the top 12, and going into 7th position, so So this is the best day for Bulgarian biathlon that we've seen for many, many years.
Well, I would say ever in the men's field, and and great shooting, 10 out of 10.
They, of course, took gold with the women's back in Nagano, back in 1998 in the Olympic Games then. Johannes Tingesbo,
look at his
got
time.
to hit 5.
His time is excellent.
Is he going to be the man that challenges? 7:42 when that last target went down. Pfeiffer's time, 7:52. He'll be a couple of seconds outside.
It's, well...
1.3. That's a margin. He is one man who can chase, Mike. And if he's 5 seconds inside Fourcade after the second shoot, then you would fancy his chances. So, at the moment, you'd think that Johannes Tingis could afford to miss one in the stand. Certainly not 2, but he could afford to miss 1.
Then you bring into the big the big mathematical sort of survey. It is deeper. The snow is getting slower. That is a pity for Johannes Tingesbo. Lindstrom.
8 and 10, preventing Lindstrom producing his season's best. Andrei Morovets, he was quick after the first shoot, only a few seconds off the lead. 16:06 on the clock. He was going into the lead, and he would have had a lead of at least 10 seconds coming out of that second shoot, but it's not to be. What about Benedikt Doll?
This time is exceptional. Look at that. It's still 15:49 on the clock.
Germany have gold from the mixed relay. Benedikt Doll was not part of the team, but he could get a taste of gold here. He's going to put pressure on. Anef 16:29 is going to be well beaten. But what will the margin be between Benedikt Doll
Massive.
and Martin Fourcade?
It's going to be huge. It's going to be, what, some 30 seconds?
You can add 11 seconds to that. It's 26 seconds between Benedikt Doll and Martin Fourcade.
Oh, what a race.
3.3 kilometers to hang
It's
on.
not a certainty for Doll. His weakness was his stand shooting. Forget that, he hit them all. His strength was his skiing. Are the conditions against him? Look at that, look how wet it is, how deep it is, and that slows your ski down on every stride.
Well, this is an opportunity that he's never had before, Mike. Andy Stitzel beside himself yet again. I expect we'll see him 2 or 3 times on this last lap. He'll be rushing from one section of the course to another. Brilliant shooting.
This is the moment of Benedikt Doll's life, his biathlon career. He started at 7-year-old. It took till the age of 17 to get his first ever 0-0. And he hasn't had it many more times between 17 and today.
Tarje Bo. Now, that would be an achievement if he could clear all 10. No, it's not going to happen. Svensson is on the range. He's missed number 2 in the prone. Another miss, and Svensson's out of the equation, I'm afraid. Norway relying now on Johannes Tingesbo, who's gone clear in the prone. 7:51. Svensson actually 4 or 5 seconds slower than Johannes Tingesbo. Johannes Tingesbo.
Well,
Doll just 1 place behind Bo.
Even look at the penalty loop. The skis are pressing so deep now into the snow. I think our analysis earlier saying that it's not a benefit going late. It was yesterday without a doubt, but today it's 3-4 degrees warmer. Well, Tarje Bo so lightly raced this season. In fact, his setback was getting the flu jab. Around Christmas, he got the flu from that jab.
Yeah, and that was after a long illness just pre-season, so he's been a little unlucky. And as we said at the start of the program, Mike, he only did 1 tough interval session, and that was good enough quality to impress the Norwegian coaches and get him a slot in the sprint. And they couldn't think of any other athlete apart from Johannes Tingis who can bring his form up so quickly.
Yeah, he's quite an unusual athlete. What about Benedikt Doll? Look at the time. It's still very, very positive.
26 seconds to play with over Martin Fourcade. Lyle Bailey leading at this stage at 7.7. Bailey is on his way towards the finish. He's still in second position. He started 77, Lyle Bailey, and he's got a lead of 2 seconds over Martin Fourcade. Benedikt Doll, 23 to play with. There goes Stitzel.
Stitzel needs to be careful not to trip up Morovets, but Doll is beginning to, or Morovets is beginning to close the gap on Benedikt Doll.
Yeah, I think Doll is sensing there's something a little bit special here.
Oh, his head often moves around a lot. It is today. He'll push the hardest he's ever pushed today.
Look how much shade there is to play with now. When Bjorn Dahlen came through 15, or it wasn't even that, 10 minutes ago, Mike, there was a thin slither of shade that he was trying to use. The athletes now with much more option. Lowell Bailey, how is he getting on his second loop? He was in third after that second shoot, and his margin behind Benedict Doll, although he was ahead of him, 15.6 seconds. So a podium very much on the cards for the American.
Well, do you know what? If anybody deserves this, it's Lowell Bailey to get a medal. It would be great if it was gold, but that's unlikely.
Yeah, we saw Tim Burke take a silver medal in the individual back in Novo Mesto in the World Championships in the Czech Republic. That was a huge day for them. 4.2 outside. He's not going to get the gold, Mike. He won't catch Fourcade in the closing stages.
He's still running 6 seconds ahead of Bjorn Dahlen.
Yeah, and Bjorn Dahlen was 7 seconds.
And 6.5 ahead of Eberhardt at that point. Hopefully there's still a chance.
Fourcade, Anef, Eberhardt, the top three in the finish, 12 seconds separating them. So Bailey of USA has about 6 seconds to play with. He cannot afford to give away any more than that if he wants to go on the podium. Bulgaria's Anef in the silver medal position, but there's a 10-second margin between first and second, and we think that Benedict Doll is going to be the man who goes into top spot. He's still got 26 seconds. He's accelerating on the second half of the course. Brilliant pacing from Doll, because one of the big dangers when you've got the lead, an unexpected lead, is that you take the first half of the last lap too quick.
Well, it's just beyond belief. And there's Moravec. Now, we can't discount Moravec because he started 30 behind, so he's riding 31 behind effectively. And that's going to be a top 5 if he keeps this pace going.
Yeah, Moravec feeding off Doll's effort. This is great. Actually, it works for both of the athletes, doesn't it, Mike?
Especially Moravec. He came off the penalty loop, his legs were tired, and ideal to get straight in behind Doll.
Lowell Bailey, has he done enough? 23.54. He is going into second position, but it still isn't a guaranteed medal.
Wow.
He's in silver at the moment, behind Martin Fourcade, but we have Benedict Doll, who is on his way to the stadium and likely to push Fourcade down into silver and Bailey into bronze. But we also have Johannes Tingesbo still out there on the course. Johannes Tingis has still got to complete his second shoot, and if he hits 5 out of 5, he'll be in running for the top spot.
Moravec is in 5th position, 31 behind. He needs to stay with Benedict Doll to keep in that top 5.
Yeah, Moravec is 3 seconds clear of Bjorn Dahlen. He's only 2 seconds behind Martin Fourcade at that stage. Wow.
What a race.
Mike, we've seen the effect of having men ranked in the top 10, starting at the beginning, in the middle, at the end of the race. It is so dramatic. In terms of entertainment, it gets a 10 out of 10 compared to the standard time trial where we see all the favourites going in Group 1, which gets about 2 out of 10.
Yeah, World Championships are special, and this man is special. Look at his time, 15:39.
One more. Down it goes. The race is on. Watch the clock. 15:51. Johannes Tingesbo, who won here in 2015. He also took the world title in 2015. He could well be getting it back today. What does the clock say? 16:04. 9.3 inside Benedict Doll. It's not a given, Mike.
It's not a given.
Yeah, if he's still got something left, then Johannes Tingis can do something here. So the Norwegians, they were right. They're forgiven. Their coach.
Well, they're right in a sense, but the conditions for me, and Benedict Doll will probably say that in 20 minutes at his press conference, are slower at the moment.
So Doll across the line, and at last, Martin Fourcade, who started number 4 with 2 misses, is pushed down by someone who's hit all 10 targets.
Doll doesn't know yet that Johannes Tingesbo has nailed all 10 targets. He's not been given that information yet.
Well,
he thinks he's won this race.
Well, does he? He knows he's got the lead, and he knows he's in for a medal. He is in for a medal, but we don't know what colour quite yet. He will see the scoreboard fairly soon. Someone's got to tell him. because all the information he's got so far has been positive, Mike. You wouldn't want Stitzel to say, you've got to pick the pace up because Johannes Tingis is coming.
No, and maybe, just maybe, it's Johannes Tingis Bo has gone too early. He often does. He's gone too hard too soon. But 9 seconds is a decent advantage into the last lap. What about Moravec? Fourth by by just over a second, 1.2 seconds.
Well, I just want to remind you of the mass start in Oslo last year. Johannes Tingis outskied Bjorn Dahlen and Martin Fourcade in a display of aggression that we've never seen before. He said he was hungrier than anyone else out there, and he proved it on that day. If he can get that sort of frame of mind going again, surely he can hold on to that lead.
There's without a doubt, Johannes Tingis Bo is special and can find something special, dig into a reserve that not many people have.
What a top 10. It's brilliant to see so many nations involved in the top positions. Bulgaria need a special hats off today because they've not just produced one good result, they've got 3 fantastic results. Here comes Tarjei Bo. He won't know that his brother's going quite so well. He'll be delighted for him. He'd love it to be him up there, but that was not really realistic when you consider the problems he's had. He has not done a single World Cup this season, and he's still got himself into the top 15. That has to be a good start, promising for the rest of the championship.
I think that's so special. You can just sense that he's race rusty, and if that's him at race rusty, tomorrow he's going to feel just a little bit better in his race. He's exhausted now.
Benedikt Doll still leading for Germany. We saw him in the mixed relay. We didn't see him in the mixed relay. We saw him in the relay last year.
This is not good for Johannes Tingis. This is the easy part of the course, but look how deep the snow is.
But does he know? Well, he'll know exactly what the timings are. I was just looking at the margins. It was 9.3, so he's lost 3 seconds on that first section. Svensson for Norway. This could be worth the medal if it goes down. No, another miss. And that's the end of Svensson's chances. 16:37 on the clock at the moment. Bjorn Dahlen's time won't be matched, and Svensson's going to struggle to make it into the top 10.
Well, what a race of strange shooting, of slightly different conditions from start to finish.
So Benedikt Doll really did benefit from having Moravec with him all the way around that final lap. I'm not sure Svensson would have made the top positions. Let's have a look at the timing. 1:07. He still would have been, what, at least 40 seconds behind Mike. And at the second shoot, that puts him all the way down into 10th position.
And the problem is tomorrow he starts 1:07 behind. But remember last year he finished, what, 17th in this race, and then he moved all the way up. Just confirm, he did move a long, long way up, I think into 5th position.
Well, Benedikt Doll has only got 1 World Championship medal to his name, and that came in a relay, so this is his first individual medal. Is it going to be gold, or will it be silver? It will be one of the two.
It certainly will. I got it wrong, of course. Last year, Svensson finished 17th in this race and moved all the way up to the bronze medal in the pursuit, which comes up tomorrow. Johannes Tingis Bo, for me, he's looking like he's on his limit, but he's still got 6.1 seconds. That's good news for him.
He's got a 10th back. He's got a 10th back. Well, that's a nice little smile from a sort of smile of inevitability. There's always someone who starts behind who does well.
But look at the traffic. Johannes Tingis Bo's got a little bit of traffic. Of course, Benedikt Doll had traffic as well, but they need to move out of his way if they can hear him.
I think they'll show him a fair amount of respect as he works his way up this climb, but with 2, one behind the other, that's pretty tricky for Johannes Tingis, and he's got to go through. He cannot afford to ease up. When others are travelling slower, Mike, it's so easy to be sucked into going at their pace. It's a bit like when you play golf. When you play with someone good, you play better. When you play with someone rubbish, you tend to match them.
Well, certainly the athletes can't get the number. It's a Bulgarian again, but his skis were slightly faster, I think, than Johannes Tingis on that little descent. Gergikov, the Bulgarian there, 91. 3.8, not good news for the Norwegian.
Where are the coaches? Where are the coaches? He needs every single one of them out there giving him that encouragement. Here we go, that's what he wants.
Oh, his
4
legs.
seconds.
His
4
legs.
seconds, he's been told. It's only 3.8. It's not strictly true, but 4 seconds. What sort of response will he give from that?
He will have to pick up. His brain will engage and say, I've got to hang on to this. He'll know he's dropped, what is it, 6 seconds to that point. For me, it's looking as if it could be the pendulum swinging towards Germany now, towards Dahl.
Now he's up the rate, but he's absolutely on his limit. A man who's already got 3 golds, 1 silver, 2 bronzes in his career. He has medalled in 50% of the World Championship races that he's taken part in, and that's pretty much the same as all the big names. Fourcade, 21 out of 36. He's going to make it 22 out of 37, I think, today.
Can you believe how many Norwegians are around this track? They've sent them all out there because they need to give him that information.
There's Mazet, and Mazet knows that if Johannes Tingesbo keeps this pace going, Martin Fourcade is going down to the bronze medal position. The finish is absolutely crucial for Johannes Tingesbo. The stadium in sight, 250 metres still to go, and he's got a margin of around 2 seconds to play with. The leading time at the moment for Benedikt Dahl, 23:27. He's got 10 seconds to cross.
He's
the
not
line.
going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it.
He's still got 50 metres to go. 5 seconds left. The clock counting down. 27. He's just outside. Benedikt Dahl remains #1. Johannes Tingis in the second place, and Martin Fourcade pushed down to the bronze medal. Germany take their second gold medal of these championships. Johannes Tingis, would you believe that? He's so seldom loses a ski race. Often he shoots himself out of contention. Not today, he was perfect on the range, but even he couldn't match Benedikt Dahl. Well done to the German team. Well done to Benedikt Dahl, who gets his first individual World Championship medal, and it's a gold one.
That's just, what a story. What a story. What about Johannes Tingesbo? For a man, if there's any one man in the field of biathlon who can push himself into a special place, he did. He tried, but he just didn't quite have that punch today. And I'll have to admit, the Norwegian papers tomorrow will be, I think, quite full of the fact that he started so late in the race. So did Dahl, though.
Mazet, Eckhoff can't quite believe what they have just seen. I think they all would have put their money on Johannes Tingis when they left the range. Andy Stitzel, wow, there's going to be a celebration in his camp tonight. Great work. And actually, Mike, the coaches can take a lot of credit because Stitzel got more support at the crucial stages of that last lap.
Well,
world champion. How does that sound?
He's never had better than second in a World Cup. He's had a second position twice, and then to take the world title. Poor old Johannes Tingesbo. He stated he'd win all the golds. Well, he was just off one today. And he cost them, let's be honest, a penalty loop in the relay 2 days ago.
That was a little tongue-in-cheek. I think we can't take that
of course it was, yes,
seriously. But Dahl, he's only 26. Hinterzarten will be celebrating tonight. Well, what a race. They get better and better as the season. We've had a fantastic World Cup season with incredible races at every venue, particularly Nové Město, and then some great races in Oberhof as well. But these championships have already produced some of the greatest memories. The mixed relay was fascinating, that battle between France and Russia for the silver and the bronze. The women's sprint, Kukalova starting late and holding off Laura Dahlmeier. Brilliant performance by her to give the Czech Republic an individual gold. And then Johannes Tingesbo, unable to topple Benedikt Dahl. Just fractions in it. He will look at that last lap, Mike, and think, that corner, that little bit of uphill, that stumble have cost me.
At this level, absolutely. At this level, 9.3 seconds is a big gain. It's a big margin to take into your last lap.
Stian Eckhoff, blown away. What a mix of emotions. Celebrations in the Norwegian camp. The two brothers embrace. That is the sort of support you want.
What about you? What about Tarjei Bø? I think that was just quite amazing as well. He's finished 14th, only 49 seconds. His first big race of the season.
Lovely shot of the two brothers And some words of encouragement, I think, from the older brother to the younger. You'll get your chance in the pursuit tomorrow. I'm not sure he's going to want to get out of bed tomorrow, let alone race.
Well, Team Doctor's there. He'll have to check him over, I think, just to make sure everything is fine.
The youngsters are coming through, Mike. It's the mid-20s that rule the day at the moment. Svensson 1:33 in terms of distance. We're looking at, wow, close on 750, 800 meters. So a long, long way off the pace for Emil Hegler Svensson.
It's unusual. Svensson barely ever drops down onto his knees. He's a man spent.
Well, Norway keep their record going. That's 15 World Championships in a row. They've taken a medal in the men's sprint, but they haven't got the gold. It's Benedikt Doll who gets his first taste of real success. 23:27, the winning time. Burr in second, and Martin Fourcade started early, missed two, and he still takes bronze. Well, possibly the best race of the championships. In the top 10, Mike, any other stories that we should be picking up on?
I think we have to praise, as always, Bjorn Dahlin. He's only 38 seconds off the lead time. He's got a real chance tomorrow. We saw that last year. Schemp, the 8th, we expected a top 10. He's in there. He had a chance to win. And the pressure on Eberhard, that's a lot of pressure to finish 7th. Mission accomplished. They would have preferred a medal, though.
Only 4 of the top 10 hitting the perfect score.
It's unusual. The wind was a huge factor, and I think only about 8 athletes hitting the perfect 10 out of 10.
Scott Gow, great race from him, and Christian Gow, both the Gows in the top 32, both picking up World Cup points, which I think is a first. I'd have to check the records for that, but good news. The Canadians have been short of results to celebrate so far this year, but that is a very, very promising result. And of course, the Americans with Lowell Bailey doing so well.
Yeah, that was special. It would have been wonderful for Lowell to have stayed on the podium. He's only, what, some 6 seconds off the podium in 4th place.
Plenty of missed targets. Kazar missing 5. And Yali